Hello, welcome to Barry Nerd Corner. My name is Brandon, and this is my attempt to beat a randomized hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon X. In addition to that, it is a collab with fellow PokeTuber Breloom Battles here on YouTube. He and I have done this, he's doing Pokemon Y, and we both added additional rules to each other's videos after each of the gym badges. I'll get into those later, but if you want to check him out, his channel is in the description down below, as well as his part to this video. My randomized settings and the hardcore Nuzlocke rules are on the screen right now and in the description down below. And without further ado, let's get to the challenge. Starting the game, we meet Augustin Sycamore, who introduces us to the concept of Pokemon. This would be a bore if he didn't send out a freaking Breloom to showcase Pokemon. This is a crazy coincidence considering I'm collabing with a guy named Breloom Battles. Arceus has surely smiled upon this challenge. Cutting to Aquacord Town, we meet the loser squad, and they want to give me a nickname. I choose to make them call me ! I like to imagine they're just shrieking like a modem starting up when they see me. Time to pick a starter. My options are Rhyhorn, Bulbasaur, and Swinub. These are so good! I begrudgingly pick Bulbasaur because it fully evolves before either of the others evolves once. I also don't think I activated the Allow Impossible Evolutions setting, so Rhydon wouldn't be able to become Rhyperior. But if I wipe and have to restart, I'm 100% picking Rhyhorn. Anyway, I name him The Twist and have to fight Serena. All of my Pokemon in this challenge are named after songs performed by The Wiggles. That's like all I listen to nowadays, so enjoy. Somehow she has Chespin despite the randomizer, and the stupid Chestnut deals more damage than I expected, but The Twist still gets the W, proving that he's the superior grass starter. I return home and get permission to leave on a Pokemon journey, though my mom doesn't seem to know what a Bulbasaur is. And her Rhyhorn is disappointed that I didn't choose the Rhyhorn for my starter. Sorry, bud. On Route 1, Shauna gives us some Pokeballs, allowing us to start expanding the team. Our first encounter is Bronzor. This is so good. I catch them and name them Pretzel. Our second Pokemon in the Santaloon Forest is a Wurmple named Propeller, which is fine. What's even better is Prop evolving into Silcoon, meaning I'll soon have a Beautifly. Nice. I then fill the team up some more with Fruit Salad the Centret on Route 3 and Dorothy the Whismer on Route 22. Now for our first gym, right after Prop evolves into Beautifly. I lead with the Twist against Viola's Surskit. Leech Seed starts sapping its health, making this battle pretty trivial. I stall until Viola uses her potion, then whittle the Water Strider down. Second is her ace, Vivillon. I also hit that with Leech Seed before pivoting to my superior Butterfly. I keep trying to poison it with Poison Sting, but that never actually succeeds. Because why would it when I'm trying to do so? Regardless, Propeller takes down Vivillon, earning us our first badge. And now we have our first new rule. Breloom says I can only have the same party size as my opponent in every major battle. I'm interpreting major battle as meaning all of the gyms, the rival fights with Serena, the final battle with Lysander, and the champion. I'll explain more about those later, but that also means that the additional battles with Karina and the rest of the loser squad don't count. We head to the next route and encounter Viola's sister Alexa. I love that this semi-random character was the Gen 6 tease in a black and white anime. She's great, especially for giving us the experience share. I then fill out the team with Bergmite. This is exciting because I've never used one. I name him Hot Potato because irony. At the end of the route, we meet left and right, and I'm just gonna say, skip. After the skip, we have to battle Augustin. Pretzel easily takes down Bulbasaur with a couple shots of confusion, and I then switch to my own Bulbasaur against Charmander. The Twist drains the lizard of its health while it refuses to use any fire on my plant Frogosaur. Last is Squirtle, but a few vines are enough to scare it to death. Augustin then gives us a second starter choice, if I remember the lame plot of XY correctly. My options this time are much less exciting. Budew, Sandile, and Seedot. I like the generational variety, but the choice is easy. Rompastomp, the Sandile. I then wait to update the layout as I leave the city. Nothing else of importance happens in Lumiose City for now. But on the next route, we find a freaking Crawdaunt. My guess is that this replaced the stupid dog. Whatever it's called. Anyway, Crawdaunt's name is Feathersword, and I'm adding him to the team immediately. The Twist also evolves into Ivysaur, adding even more power. The team and I arrive in Camphor Town, where we visit a rich man's castle. This leads us to visit another rich man's castle. Gotta love these alters to the 1%. But because I have twins, I can't afford the entry fee. How kind of these rich schmucks to let me in anyway. Skipping this, we head to Route 7 where we have to wake up Snorlax to move on. But the teddy bear randomized into an Alakazam. Nice! Since I have to battle him before I can find long grass, I'm going to catch both this and my first tall grass encounter. Then I'll let you vote for which one I... This route is dead to me. Doubly so when the loser squad shows up and forces me into a tag battle. And our only consolation is catching Skinamarink the Spinarak in Connecting Cave. We put that failure of a route behind us and enter Route 8. There we receive the Coastal Pokedex, unlocking a ton of new Pokemon, such as Baby Shark the Kabuto. Speeding through the next couple of routes, we meet Team Flare and catch several new Pokemon. Wags the Arbok, the Owl the Rufflet, Lucky the Hitmonchan, and Mama Duck the Poliwag. After some grinding, I bring Feathersword and Lucky to battle Grant at the gym. He sends out Amara first, and I choose Feathersword. A couple of Bubble Beams are enough to re-extinct the dino, but not before she paralyzes the captain with Thunder Wave. Next is Tyrant, so I lower its defense with Rock Smash. Lucky then comes in and takes it down with a single Mach Punch. Now for our second additional rule. After every major battle, I have to release one Pokemon. With the first rule still active, I'm going to release one of the Pokemon that I brought into every major battle. For this one, I'm releasing Feathersword the Cronont. I already have several other water types, and odds of getting another are really high, so I will see you later, Captain. Thank you for your service. In Geosenge Town, Karina tries to challenge us with her ultra-powerful Lucario, but Lucky quickly dispatches them with a Fist of the North Star flurry of blows. This doesn't count as a major battle because it's just a random trainer battle. We then head to Shalour City. Along the way, we catch Rockabye the Victory Bell, Sam the Boltor, Henry the Tentacool, and Emma the Audino. Romp also evolves into Krokorok. Visiting the Tower of Mastery, we learn about Mega Evolution, and the loser squad shows up. Serena wants to battle, and since I'm counting this as a major battle, I can only bring 3 Pokemon with me, and no matter what, I'm losing at least one Pokemon here. Serena leads with Meowstic, and I lead with Romp. My plan here is simple. Step 1, protect to block Fake Out. Step 2, bulldoze to lower her speed and deal some damage. Step 3, crunch for the KO. This works perfectly, bringing out Froggendeer. I also send out my starter, the Twist, who scores a crit with Razor Leaf. This allows him to claim victory in only 2 attacks. Last is Absol, whom I managed to Leech Seed for some DOT. That nearly costs me the Twist's life, so I bring Romp back in. Protect provides a bit of chip damage and healing before Brick Break puts that puppy down. With that win, Skinamarink has to retire, giving us our second death. And we immediately move on to another major battle, the third gym leader, Karina. Round 1 is Mienfoo versus Propeller. Protect blocks Fake Out, then Stun Spore leaves the dog thing fully paralyzed for 2 fully safe turns. This allows me to burn Karina's 2 Hyper Potions and switch in my Tentacool, whom I forgot to take to the Name Reader yet. Mienfoo is polite enough to remain paralyzed for an additional 2 turns while Almost Henry maxes out her defense. It's nice to see the opponent get really bad paralysis luck. 2 hits of Bubble Beam are then enough to take down Mienfoo, bringing in Machoke. This guy is a bit bulkier, so I use Acid Spray to lower his special defense. This allows Henry to take it out on the next turn, even outspeeding despite having her speed lowered. Last is Karina's ace, Hawlucha. I repeat the Acid Spray Bubble Beam combo, leaving her with what must be 1 HP. But Karina has no more potions, so she can only deal a tiny bit more damage before my giant squid finishes wiping out her team. And that means 2 things. 1, Propeller is dead. And 2, I have to add my third rule to this challenge. This rule says that I can only have 2 Pokemon at the level cap at any given time. It's an interesting twist, so let's see how it goes. Oh, and we can challenge Karina again for the ability to Mega Evolve. And my Lucario was randomized to Aggron. Wait, shoot. That's a loss. But Is it a wipe? Let me ask you folks. Survey says it's not a wipe and we can move on. I'm also not counting it as a death because if it's not a wipe, it's not a death. And vice versa. It makes sense, trust me. The road to the next gym is very short. We add Greg the Electabuzz to the box and get ready for another major battle with Serena. My strategy is pretty much the same. Protect, bulldoze, and then crunch from Romp on Meowstic, switch to a grass type for Frogadier, and then let Lucky punch Absol to death. Nice try. But that also means that I have to lose another Pokemon. So, goodbye, Rockabye. I like you more than Venusaur, but they are a generally better Pokemon. Time to battle Ramos. I lead with Murray, whom I Mega Evolve immediately. He then buries Jumpluff in a bunch of rocks. I swap out for the Twist when Go-Goat comes out. A handful of Sludge Bombs take down both the Goat and the remaining Weepinbell. Another easy win, and another death to Breloom's rules. Speaking of, here's the fourth new rule. All of my Pokemon must wait 2 additional levels before evolving. Hopefully, I don't forget about this. Once again, the next gym isn't very far. Along the way, I catch Apples the Snivy with a Quick Ball. My team then kicks Team Flare out of the power plant, and then I meet a man slightly taller than me before reaching Lumiose City again. While grinding for the gym, Hot Potato evolves into Avalugg. But I forgot to obey Breloom's newest rule, so he's sending the bench until after the 6th gym. Anyway, let's challenge Clemont. I send out Murray to face his Emolga. Like with Ramos, I Mega Evolve immediately. I also predict Emolga's Volt Switch and bulldoze the incoming Magneton for massive damage. This allows me to stall out Clemont's Hyper Potions and take down the magnets without any trouble. Clemont then sends out my favorite Kalos Pokemon, so I switch to the Twist. Bulldoze slows the lizard down a bit, but doesn't even do half damage. I then choose to Leech Seed it while it tries in vain to electrocute the Twist. The seeds do enough chip damage for a second Bulldoze to finish off the ace, leaving the nerd with only Emolga. Sludge Bomb deals massive damage, though Emolga does the same with Aerial Ace. One last switch to Murray saves the Twist, and allows my super-powered Steel Dinosaur to bury the Flying Squirrel, earning us our 5th gym badge. Wags also levels up and learns Acid Spray, just in time to be released thanks to rule number 2. Now that I've beaten Clemont, Breloom adds rule number 5. Only half of my team can have held items. This shouldn't be too tough. Because of the item randomization, I'm finding a bunch of random unusable berries, but I'm going to apply this rule even to my limited team sizes, so in gym battles and major battles, only 2 of my 3 or 4 Pokemon can have items, including Mega Stones, so this might get a little bit tricky later. Speaking of major battles, Serena shows up for another beatdown. I'm really regretting counting these Serena battles as major. Her team doesn't change, her strategy doesn't change, and I'm just losing Pokemon faster than I can collect them. My strategy for her battle is still pretty much the same. I used Mega Murray to take down Meowstic and Absol, having edited his moveset just for this battle. Then the Twist dances Greninja to death. Fruit Salad levels up and learns Slam just in time to be released. Whoa, deja vu. I catch a herdier named Jeff and then we visit a haunted house. Happy Halloween, everybody! Let me know what you do to celebrate the holiday in the comments down below. Anyway, we get to battle Valerie now, but she doesn't stand a chance against Mega Murray. I do forget to Mega Evolve him for a turn, but that doesn't matter. He only takes damage from 1 crunch before headbutting all of her Pokemon into unconsciousness. Kinda reminds me of Naruto's fight with Gaara during the Chunin exams. Oh, and I then released Jeff. He's clearly the weakest link, and I'm not a fan of dogs. Double O, I have a new rule to follow. You may not catch the next 3 encounters. Ouch! With that disheartening news, we head to the Pokeball factory. Shauna and Trevor antagonize a Team Flare grunt, and Tierno joins them in distracting him. This leaves Serena and me to clear the factory of the remaining grunts and admins on our own. This is one of my least favorite things about this game, but I don't want to get into that here, so let's just skip to the big battle. Serena joins us for a tag battle against 2 of the admins, but the Twist is able to dance their 2 Pokemon into an early grave. Try harder, dudes. Moving on, my first missed encounter is a horde battle with Zweilous, Braixen, Gabite, Wartortle, and Charmeleon. This is insane. All of those Pokemon are amazing. Imagine a team where it's just those 5 Pokemon. That would be so awesome. Our second missed encounter is a Skarmory, which is just above mid, and last is Slowpoke. And now, we can catch some new Pokemon. In the Frost Cavern, we catch Simon the Breakson. Rompastomp then evolves into Crocodile at level 42 instead of 40. Simon evolves into Delphox, so I need to add him to the team soon. Marmaduke also evolves into Poliwrath, and then we catch Bananas the Machop. What an anticlimax. I update the team and get ready for some major battles. Or major battles. First, we have another match against Serena. Fine, let's just get it done. Romp takes down Meowstic the same way as always. Then Serena sends out Flareon for some reason, who falls to a couple of bulldozes. Third is Absol, who also quickly falls to 2 hits from Romp. Last is Greninja, so I finally switch out Romp. Marmaduke takes him down with a single hit of Brick Break. This does push him over the level cap, so he's on the bench until I beat the next gym. And you know what? I'm not counting this one as a major battle. I've used the same exact strategy in every single battle with Serena. I've lost 4 Pokemon to her for no good reason, and I'm done. The only battle with her that is major is going to be in Victory Road. But anyway, let's move on and challenge Olympia. First up is Sigilyph versus Romp. Olympia sets up Reflect while Romp lowers her Pokemon's speed with Rock Tomb. I then use Protect to stall a turn of Reflect before taking down her lead with 2 crunches. Second is Slowking. I use Protect again to stall the final turn of Reflect before nearly OHKOing the Hermit Crab Pokemon. Olympia heals with a Hyper Potion before a high roll on the next crunch takes down her second Pokemon. But Romp falls asleep as Meowstic comes in. It can't do much to my Crocodile, so I stay in while she sets up with Calm Mind. Shadow Ball does pitiful damage as Romp wakes up and gobbles up the Psychic Cat in one bite, winning the battle. Pretzel then continues the tradition of learning a new move at the end of a gym battle, learning Gyro Ball. He also finally evolves, just in time to go to a giant bell farm upstate. I also add my penultimate rule. One Pokemon must always be at half HP, which is crazy. Leaving the gym, Serena approaches us for a rematch. Thankfully, Lysander forces everyone into a Zoom meeting, where he announces that Team Flare is taking over the world. Whew. Thanks for that, dude. I'm totally gonna take you down, sir. Sorry, Serena. Rank check. Heading into Lysander Cafe, we have to battle Lysander. But this is the first of 3 battles with him in this arc of the game, so I'm only counting the final battle as major because his team and moves are identical across all 3 battles. We clear out the cafe's basement, taking down a number of grunts and admins. This climaxes in a confrontation with Xerosic, who gives us a choice to press the correct button and disable their ultimate weapon. We choose correctly, but he activates it anyway. You know, because he's a villain. Now we have to head to Geosinge Town to stop Lysander from awakening Xerneas and destroying the Kalos region. But before I do that, I detour Telavir Town, where I never fished for a Pokemon. I pull a Zweilous named Shimmy and catch it. We finish our grinding and head to Team Flare's second base to confront Lysander. After the battle, we rush to the basement to stop him from awakening Xerneas. Shauna shows up to Deus Ex Machina our way into the final room, where we have to take down 4 admins single-handedly. Meanwhile, Shauna and Serena take down, let me just check my notes here, 2 admins. Seems fair. But we're too late. The admins stall long enough for Xerneas to wake up. Did I say Xerneas? Because I meant Yveltal. This randomization is hilarious and I love it. I toss my Master Ball and catch them with ease. Their name will be Monkey, and I'll be adding them to the team later. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you think that's cheating. His plan foiled, Lysander corners us and challenges us to one final battle. Unfortunately, limiting my team size means that I have to lead with Monkey, but let's see how this battle goes. First on the chopping block is his Mean Chow. High Jump Kick deals a lot of damage, but Monkey uses Oblivion Wing to take it down and heal himself fully. Lysander sends out Pyroar next. Noble Roar does about a third to Monkey, but then a crit on Dark Pulse kills his lion like a herd of wildebeest. Third is Haunch Crow. He's able to deal light damage with Aerial Ace, but a couple of Oblivion Wings take it down and heal Monkey nearly to full. Last is Gyarados. Lysander Mega evolves him immediately, and I hit him with Oblivion Wing just to see how it does. I then switch around a bit to see who can handle this monster shrimp. Romp lowers his attack with Intimidate, while Gyarados gets confused from using Outrage. Amaduck then goes out, survives a hit of Outrage, and takes down Gyarados with Break. With that victory, the weapon collapses on top of the team base. Lysander remains behind, presumably dying because he's a sore loser. But that's not the only death we have to contend with. Because it was a major battle, one of the Pokemon who came into battle has to retire. And because I forgot to leave a Pokemon at half health, I'll count that as a second death. Honestly, Poliwrath probably would have been the one at half health, which means he probably would have died against Gyarados. So I'll release him and Electabuzz since I don't have an Electrolyzer. Now we can move on and replace some of the lost team members. First, on Route 18, we have a Horde encounter. These are all great potential encounters, and I would probably pick Shellos or Eevee, but because this is a crossover with Breloom Battles, I catch Shroomish and name her Battles. You're welcome, dude. Next, we find a Skarmory in Terminus Cave. I catch her, negating another of the missed encounters earlier, and name her McDonald. Augustin then interrupts our catching spree to monologue before challenging us to a rematch, but that's not worth showing. Our next interruption is a Delcatty named John, whom we capture and keep just as a meat shield. On Route 19, we catch Anthony the Leaveney before running into the loser squad again. They want to battle us in what would be a gauntlet, but is really more of a baby's mitten of battles. These losers don't have full teams or full movesets on the Pokemon they do have. We move on to Route 20, where we find another Horde. This one is a bit less exciting, so I clear the field with Surf and then catch Mantine. Her name is Big Red Car. Then I find another Horde in the Pokemon Village and choose to catch Squirtle. I name him Dr. Nick, and he's definitely joining the team. Unfortunately, I forgot to check that my recording was working for that. Oops. After that, my penultimate encounter is a Trevenant, whom I capture and name Skeleton. And with that, it's time for our final gym battle. I lead with Locky against Abomasnow. The Snowman manages to hit an energy ball before a couple of power-up punches take it down. Cryogonal comes out next, but Locky is able to outspeed them thanks to his Held Choice Scarf. The Snowflake has paper-thin defense, so one more punch is enough to take it down. Last is Avalugg, who has the physical defense of a literal iceberg, but is also very slow and vulnerable to global warming, so I pivot to Simon, who was my half HP Pokemon of choice. Avalanche brings him to Blaze range, so Simon doubles down on his carbon footprint to melt the ice cap and win the battle. With that, it's time to add one final rule and head to the Pokemon League. Rule number 8 is, I have to battle every trainer in Victory Road. I'm going to record all of them and show them during the epilogue when I'm closing out the video, so stay tuned for that. Oh, and because I won the gym battle, John the Delcatty is gone now. We enter Victory Road and look for our final encounter. We find a Medicham and capture him. His name will be Ro. And now I bring out the B team so I can avoid losing any important Pokemon or going over the level cap. So welcome to the spotlight, B team. Halfway through Victory Road, we have our final battle with our rival Serena. And she finally has expanded her team. I abandoned my usual strategy against Meowstic, instead choosing to brute force the cat with Owl. Greninja is second and I stick to my guns. This almost backfires as Ice Beam deals tons of damage. But the Owl survives and flexes his military might on the frog, taking it down with a single hit of superpower. Third is Altaria, so I switch to my Ice type for quad damage. She only lowers my special attack as I hit with the physical avalanche to bury that bird in an icy tomb. Serena sends in Flareon, so I give Baby Shark his only real battle. A single waterfall is enough to put the dog down. And as always, Absol is last. But Baby Shark can't be crit thanks to his battle armor ability. He takes a boosted Night Slash but manages to hit twice with Waterfall, putting another W on his record and putting Serena in her place for good. With that battle concluded, I do have to lose one more team member, but I'm not running back to the Pokemon Center. I just won't use Baby Shark for the rest of Victory Road. And with that, we reach the Pokemon League. Here is the team as we head in. Held items and movesets will vary slightly between battles with the Elite Four. Speaking of, I'm not counting them as major battles because I can't switch out my team once I'm inside. So let's get after it. First is Malva. I send out Dr. Nick, whom I immediately Mega Evolve. Coincidentally, I found a Blastoise way back in Glittering Cave, and I'm so glad that I get to use it. Noble Roar does lower my special attack though, so Pyroar survives a Surf. but after wasting a potion, Nick scores a high roll and takes it down. Second is Talonflame, so I switch to Murray. He walls the bird pretty hard, forcing her to take extra damage from Recoil and Rocky Helmet. Then he buries her alive with a single hit of Rock Tomb. Torkoal falls to a single Surf. Then Chandelure nearly takes down Dr. Nick with Confusion Hacks, before also being washed away with Surf. Moving on to Seabold. Naturally, I lead with the Twist, and he sends out Clawitzer. Petal Blizzard does a ton of damage, which allows me to stall out Seabold's potions before taking down the Crayfish Pokemon. Star me a second, so I pivot to Monkey to avoid any psychic damage, but the Starfish just sets up Light Screen. This doesn't matter much right now, as a single non-crit Dark Pulse blows it out of the water easily. Third is Barbarackle, who has some pretty good type coverage, so I rotate through Murray to avoid taking much damage when I send the Twist back out. A single flurry of petals is enough to defeat Barnacle Boy, leaving Seabold with just his non-Mega Gyarados. I hit him with Leech Seed as he sets up with Dragon Dance. This could get really bad really quickly, but luckily I have that chip damage and healing every turn. My plan now is to switch around until Leech Seed fully drains Gyarados. I don't want to risk him outspeeding even Monkey, but Murray gets back to full HP, meaning he'll survive any hit thanks to Sturdy. So, for a bit of flavor, Murray finishes off the Serpent's few remaining hit points with a Rock Tomb after surviving a boosted Earthquake. Such drama. Third is Wickstrom, who starts with Klefki. This guy can be tricky, so I decide to stall him out a bit. Leech Seed plus Earthquake from the Twist is enough to do just that in a few turns. I even managed to use up one of Wickstrom's potions. His second Pokemon is Probopass, so I employ the same strategy. Leech Seed breaks Sturdy, Earthquake deals massive damage, Petal Blizzard chips him down after a potion, and then another Earthquake finally takes down the nose. It didn't help that the Twist was tormented by Klefki, but it's all working out all right. Scizor comes out, and the strategy remains. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do have to use Synthesis a time or two to avoid death, but otherwise, this is an open and shut case. Last is Aegislash, and I start by switching in Romp. This cuts the sword's attack and provokes Sacred Sword. This means that I can safely switch in Simon, outspeed, and melt the shield on the following turn. That leaves only Drasna. Leading with Simon, I'm able to take a quick lead by taking down Dragalge with a single hit of Psychic. Altaria comes in, so I tag in Dr. Nick. After evolving, he hits with Ice Beam to take it down. The same is true for Noivern, who comes in next. This just leaves her with Dredagon. This becomes a bit tricky. She survives an Ice Beam, then starts rotating my Pokemon out with Dragon Tail. I force Drasna to use a potion and hit Dredagon with Leech Seed for a bit of extra damage every turn. Unfortunately for Drasna, Dragon Tail brings in Monkey, who is able to clean up the match with a single blast of Dark Pulse. And now, we ascend the elevator to confront Diantha for the title of champion. She leads with the Hawlucha, and I choose Simon again. She's the fastest Pokemon I have, and she's holding the Choice Scarf for an extra boost. This allows her to outspeed and eliminate the Luchador with Psychic, giving us an early lead once again. Second is Rexy. I send in Romp holding the Muscle Band, and take it out with a quick Earthquake. Kalos' resident pseudo-legendary comes out, but she quickly falls to a band-boosted Outrage. This immediately backfires though, as now Romp is trapped as Diantha sends out Aurorus. Outrage deals about 50% as the dinosaur sets up Reflect. I pray to Arceus for a clutch crit on the next turn, but no such luck. This allows Aurorus to hit a Blizzard. God is dead, and so is my beloved Crocodile. Dr. Nick comes in and cleans up this mess with a quick Flash Cannon. This leaves Diantha with her Jack-o'-lantern, making this officially and completely a Halloween episode. I send out my Dark and Evil Bird to obliterate it with Oblivion Wing, and that just leaves Gardevoir. She Mega Evolves as I switch in Murray, perhaps the MVP of the team. He tanks Moonblast before also Mega Evolving. Then, after taking a hit from Thunderbolt, Ironhead smashes Gardevoir into the ground, winning us the battle and the run. We mourn the loss of Rompastomp, but we quickly move on to celebrate our victory. We enter the Hall of Fame, where Diantha records our epic team forever. What an insane powerhouse. 3 starters, a legend, and 2 near pseudo-legends. One of the best teams I've ever used, for sure. This video was quite a lot of fun to make. It was fun to do a collab with Breloom, so if you're interested in a collab, please shoot an email to me. My email's in the description down below. It was fun to do a randomizer, but I think I would enjoy it more next time if my opponent's teams were completely randomized. This just felt kind of like a basic Nuzlocke, even though I'd have different Pokemon and couldn't really predict what was coming. I had a lot of fun though. All the additional rules were really cool, so thank you Breloom for all of those. My personal favorites were, limiting held items was cool, but delaying evolution and having a Pokemon at half health, those were so unique and provided an extra little twist. I had to plan on who was being my half health Pokemon and how was I going to get around that if they had to come in. It was wild. I'm not a huge fan of X and Y, as I said earlier, but I want to keep it super positive. So let me know in the comments what your favorite things about X and Y are. For example, I love the idea of Mega Evolution. I don't think it was implemented incredibly well. I think it would have been better for a lot more Pokemon to get forms, especially those who can't quite compete as well with the other really strong Pokemon. Like, why do Gyarados and Alakazam and the Kanto starters all get Megas, but not really cool Pokemon like, Heracross does and Pinsir do, but like other Pokemon similar to that who deserve another evolution to really make them incredibly strong? I think those would have been better for Megas, or just to get more Pokemon with Megas, or somehow turn it into a Gigantamax, Dynamax type situation where every Pokemon can Mega Evolve, but others have like some other evolution type, like the Primal Reversion thing that we have in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But I'm going to stop rambling, so thank you so much for watching. If you're still listening, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, nerds.